The weight of the silence. A message to every forgotten parent. People always pull me aside and ask, Harl, out of everything you've heard in your 82 years, what's the loudest sound in the world? And I look them right in the eye and I tell them, the loudest sound on God's green earth is silence. It's the specific kind of silence that comes from this piece of plastic right here, this cell phone, when it hasn't made a peep in 3 months. That silence is deafening. It echoes in every corner of a quiet house. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. See, I raised 3 babies. I didn't just witness it, I was in the trenches. I changed every diaper. I worked double shifts at the plant to pay for those fancy university degrees. I sat in those metal bleachers until my bones felt like ice, screaming my lungs out while they played. I gave them my back. I gave them my knees. Lord knows I handed them every single dime I ever managed to scrape together. And now I'm 82 years old, and I'm supposed to feel lucky. I mean, I'm considered blessed if I get a 3-word text message on Christmas morning. Merry Christmas, Dad. That's the whole of it. That's the grand total. That is what I have to show for a lifetime of devotion, sacrifice, and unconditional love. The ghost in the quiet house. Now, you're sitting there watching this video, and I can see it in your eyes. You feel it too. You're sitting in a house that's way too quiet, pacing the floor, wondering to yourself, what did I do so wrong? Where did the thread break? You pick up that phone for the 10th time today. You dial the number you know by heart. It rings 3 times, then you get that recorded voice, and you say, Hey baby, hey son. It's just Dad, just checking in on you to see how you're doing. Call your daddy back when you get a second. And then the ritual starts. You wait. You keep the phone on the arm of the chair, you check the signal, you wait some more, and nothing. Not a word. The hard truth. Laying down the burden. Well, let me tell you something today. I'm going to say it plain, and it might sting a little bit, but honey, it's the truth you need to hear. Stop calling them. Put the phone down on the table. Don't you dare leave another just checking in voicemail. Don't you send another text message begging for a crumb of their attention. They left you. They did. And every time you keep chasing them, you're losing the only thing you have left in this world, your dignity. Let's talk about the why. Why are you still dialing that number? It's because you're scared. I know that fear. It lives in the pit of your stomach. You're terrified that if you stop, they'll just disappear into the mist. Poof, gone forever. You've convinced yourself that if you don't constantly remind them you're still breathing, they'll forget old Harold even exists. Well, listen to me and listen close. If you have to remind your own flesh and blood that you exist, they've already forgotten you. That is a jagged pill to swallow. It sticks in your throat, but begging for love isn't love. It's pity. And I don't know about you, but I'm a grown man. I survived 40 years in a factory. I walked through the storms of life. I am not about to accept a handout of pity from the people I used to spoon-feed. No, sir. When you call them 5 times a week, sounding sad and smelling of desperation, you are teaching them that you are a burden. You're teaching them that you don't have a life of your own, that you're just sitting by a window like an old dog waiting for a scrap. And let me tell you, people, even your own children, will run from that. It feels like a weight, like pressure. So they pull back, which makes you chase harder, which makes them run even faster. Killing the ghost of guilt. You have to stop the bleeding today. Right here, right now, the chasing ends. Step 1. You've got to kill that guilt. I know what you're doing at 2 in the morning. You're laying there staring at the ceiling fan, replaying the old tapes of your life. Maybe I was too hard on him. Maybe I worked too many hours. Maybe I didn't say I love you enough. Look here, there ain't no such thing as a perfect parent. I certainly wasn't one. Lord, I made mistakes that still make me cringe. But I was there. I didn't run off. I put bread on that table. I kept the lights burning. I loved them the best way I knew how with the tools I had. If your children are choosing to punish you today for something you did 30 years ago, that is their burden to carry. That ain't on you. You cannot spend the rest of your life apologizing for the past. And you sure as hell can't pay for it by sacrificing your dignity today. If they want to hold a grudge, let them hold it. That's a heavy bag to carry through life, but you don't have to carry it for them. Forgive yourself, man. You did the job, the contract is fulfilled, you deserve some peace in your twilight years. Planting your own garden. Step 2, build your garden. Now you're going to ask me, Harl, if I don't call them, what am I supposed to do? Just sit in this dark room and wait for the end? No. You build a garden. My granddaddy used to tell me, Harl, if you spend your life chasing a butterfly, that thing is always going to stay one step ahead of you. But if you build a beautiful, lush garden, the butterfly might just come to you. And even if it doesn't come, shoot, you've still got yourself a beautiful garden to sit in. For 5 long years, I sat in this exact chair, writing in my head, waiting for this phone to ring. 6 months ago, I finally said, enough is enough. I joined a woodshop class down the road. I started making things with my hands again, smelling the sawdust, feeling the grain of the wood. I started playing chess at the park with those other old fools. We argue about politics, we laugh until we cough. I even pulled my old gumbo recipe out of the drawer and started cooking for myself again. And you know what happened? I became interesting again. I became happy. I stopped needing them to fill this hollow hole in my chest. I filled it myself. You've got to get busy. Go travel to that town you always talked about. Go learn a new language or a new trade. Make your life so vibrant and so full that you don't even notice the phone isn't ringing. Because here's the secret. Children are curious creatures. When the phone stops ringing, when the guilt-tripping messages stop landing in their inbox, they start to wonder. Why hasn't Daddy called? Is he okay? What's he doing? Eventually they call, and when they do, they don't find a miserable old man sitting in the dark, waiting to lay a guilt trip on them. They find a man who is truly, deeply living, and that is what makes them want to stay. The final truth. Now, I've got to keep it real with you. I ain't going to lie to you just to make you feel good. Sometimes you build the grandest garden in the world, and the butterflies still don't show up. Sometimes they are just gone. Sometimes folks are just selfish to the bone, even if they share your DNA. And if that's the case, if you find your own peace and they still choose to stay away, then let them go. Let them go with love in your heart, but let them go. You cannot force a soul to love you, but you can refuse to let their absence destroy your spirit. You aren't defined by who comes to visit you on a Sunday afternoon. You are defined by the man you see in that mirror every morning. My phone hasn't rung in 3 months, but I'm going to that woodshop today to finish a table. I'm going to cook myself a thick steak tonight. I am going to live. If they want to join me, the door is unlocked and the porch light is on. But I am not standing in the doorway staring at the road anymore. And you shouldn't be either. Get up off that chair. Go live.